Now, we remember the FBI report that came out stating black identity extremists was the greatest threat to law enforcement. And I stated when I did that particular live stream that I will point out when police officers are harmed or killed by these NeanderThugs, because they are the ones who are harming and killing cops more than any other group of people. Now, you have one police officer that lost his life from a guy that he saved 2 years ago from literally himself. But let's go ahead and roll that clip.
In hindsight, the old saying, no good deed goes unpunished.
This is Liberty Township Police Chief Rich Tisone talking about how his officers and fire officials helped save the life of Jason Marble in July of 2015 by giving him CPR and Narcan. Marble is the man sources say is alleged to have shot and killed Girard officer Justin Leo Saturday night.
It was rather disturbing to find out that we saved his life, and 2 years later he ended an officer's life.
Hey, it's Girard.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Girard.
Yeah.
Hey, I need anybody you got to 408 Indiana for shots fired. We got an officer down.
408 Indiana?
Yes, male with several firearms. He's been drinking all day.
Police were called to a home on Indiana Avenue after 10 Saturday night. Shortly after they arrived, sources say Marble shot Officer Leo. Another officer returned fire, killing Marble. Several police flags line the street where the officer was shot. Some neighbors even have blue ribbons tied on trees and small memorials in their yard. Officials here in the city of Girard say Officer Justin Leo worked for them for 5 years. They tell me he will never be forgotten. Girard Mayor Jim Melfi says in the past few days they have heard dozens of stories on how the young officer, he was 31 years old, impacted so many lives.
For example, he had a call to some young kids who were playing in the neighborhood, maybe trespassing and doing some things, and in uniform ended up tossing the football to them. And people notice these things.
And those here in the small city of Girard did notice. And on Monday, lined the streets waiting for police to escort Officer Leo's body to a funeral home in his hometown.
Just to pay respects for the sympathy out of the family, and I feel sad. It hurts.
Before we get started with the commentary, I want to reach out to our supporters and viewers to help us reach our 3,000 member goal on Patreon for a minimum of $2 or $5 a month. I want to thank every person who has joined us on Patreon this weekend, and of course those who have joined us already. With your continued support, this is the only way the show can keep going. We have exclusive videos. I'm speaking about many different things there, so join us on Patreon. So 2 years ago, the police officer saved the life of this NeanderThug. Now, he gave him CPR and Narcan. Now, anyone know that with this opioid epidemic, they give them Narcan to stop the overdose of the individual. They did not treat him like they treated black people during the crack cocaine epidemic, because if they would have done anything with this guy, he would have went to jail and that'd have been it. And the police officer would be alive right now if this guy went to jail like black people went to jail. But since now it's a health crisis and not a criminal justice issue, he got to stay out. And this police officer came to the house because of a domestic violence call. This guy was drunk. This guy had guns and killed a police officer. But I thought black identity extremists was the greatest threat to law enforcement. That's according to the FBI. And as I stated then, I state now, black people don't fool the police like that. The hardest thug in the hood run away from the cops. They don't even fool with them either. But they overlook this. They don't want to have the real conversation on who's harming and killing cops in America. Your white supremacist terrorists and all your Richard Spencers and all other people of the world, they talking about they love white people and they want to defend whites, or white on white crime, as you saw in this video, is harming cops, as they say they love, harming whites, but they say nothing. That's what makes their movement extremely ignorant. It makes it hypocritical. They don't really care about white people like that. All they care about is being a terrorist. But let's see if the mainstream media is going to highlight this officer and draw a narrative about this person that did the crime. I want to hear all the experts come out talking about white on white crime, because if it's black people, you're quick to have experts come out talking about black on black crime. There's no such thing as black on black, white on white. It's called crime. But in this country, you racialize everything. Now, there are people that say, why you got to bring up race? It's because y'all started race long time ago, and we always got to play offense or defense to it. It's just that simple. And I'm going to continue to point it out as long as you're telling lies on the black community. In the new black media, we're here to stand against the lies and put out the truth that you're not going to smear our names no longer without any pushback. So once again, another police officer lost his life. We did 2 stories about a week or 2 ago. 2 more police officers at the hands of NeanderThugs. Where's that term white identity extremists? We don't hear it, but I guess you got to make up imaginary terms for black people during the reign of Donald Trump, Jeff Sessions, and the white supremacist organization that's in the White House right now. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Share the video on your social media pages. Like the commentary, subscribe, and make sure you click the bell so you get the notifications when we post any new commentary.